so much thundering happening right now, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to catch like a huge explosion here on camera, but it's really loud and it's crazy because it's not raining right now, but there's a bunch of thundering. So I hope there's a drop. Anyways. Oh my goodness, this paint. Okay, hi friends. I've been moving around the house today with this painting thing, which let me just get you up to speed as to what's happening right now. I'm painting, as you can see. It's a canvas to be part of kind of the series that I'm doing. This is the first one that I did, but it's basically just like a really girly, floral, femaleness series. So this one, I'm really excited. I've had this idea in my head. There are things that are not supposed to just be for paintings. There's going to be prints of them too, but also I'm wanting to make like tapestries with them, maybe rugs if I can figure out how to do that. Who knows, just really fun patterns that are like really girly and fun, but really just kind of like female empowering. So with this canvas here, let me turn this other camera on really quick. Okay, so I have a timer on my phone because I know that this camera stops recording after like 10 minutes. So while I'm talking, I'll have to make sure that I'm keeping in time with that. A little low energy right now, but that's just because it's been raining. I think I mentioned it earlier, it was thunderstorming. It's really chill out. So this canvas was just kind of like a pain to put the paints on as the backdrop color because this is kind of like old paint that I'm using. I've had for years and it's not the best and the easiest to move around, but it's dry now. Had to take Kahlua to the vet. Nothing bad, just a routine checkup that she has. So this idea, let's see if I can get this all here on canvas. This is my this is my painting block thing. As you can see, it is well loved, well used. So I'm just gonna mix some things up here. But I wanted to film this one because I want to start filming more art stuff, but also because I really want to just kind of talk with you guys about some of like my art insecurities that I have. So I'm gonna get this all mixed up, and we're just gonna right now just kind of block in where I want, make a nice like skin tone here. Honestly, this could probably be my foundation. But kind of block in where I want this girl to be. So oh goodness, first time doing this in a while, so let's make sure that this works. How big do I want her to be? I think I want her to be kind of like yeah. Okay, it's fine if it's not perfect. I'm not going for perfection here. We're just going for a story. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I'm kind of frustrated with myself at the moment because I started so late doing this. I'm not sure if other people are like this, but certainly myself, I have a problem with working when people are around. I've always had this problem. I had the biggest issue doing homework when I was younger because I was just like, I'm home, I have family around, my parents are here, they're watching me, and it was just difficult for me to work, do anything. So when Brian's home, like I have a hard time getting myself to do work. It looks so green. That's so funny. I think it's because of the pink background. So I'm just gonna put in some of these, a little bit of darker colors over here. you know what? It might be my paintbrush. Paintbrush probably wasn't the cleanest paintbrush to start with. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I'll say that. I have no idea. Not a clue. But is it better? So, talking about insecurities as an artist, for myself personally, is probably something that some people out there can relate to, but this also might be something that could be news for some people. But I don't know, news or not, I'm an insecure person. Some of these brushes got kind of really dirty because I had a friend over and I didn't clean them right afterwards, and we were painting with them, and like I said, I didn't clean them right afterwards, so they're a little worse for wear at the moment. Anyways, I didn't really write down exactly what I wanted to say. I mean, you guys know I can talk for a while when I decide to start talking. So we're gonna roll with whatever comes out. So I started painting back in high school. I took a painting class and I kind of fell in love with it and realized hey, I am kind of talented at what I'm doing. I took an art class and I was like, I'm not completely bad at this. I kind of know what I'm doing. I can grasp it, get a hold of it, and fell in love. And then I also was taking film classes in high school, and again realized, hey, I'm not so bad at this. I really enjoy this. This is something that I love to do. So then it kind of shaped my future from there, of me realizing that I wanted to do something art related. So I went to school for film initially, but the school that I went to and at first offered a course in graphic design. You had to get your associates in graphic design before you can go into a bachelor's in a more specific field, whether it was 3D animation, coding, or in my case film. You could also continue on into graphic design. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll suck it up. I'll go through the associates first and then I'll move into film, the thing that I really wanted to do. And so with doing that, I started taking graphic design, and then I started seeing people around me doing art things with graphic design because that's what they were doing. And I realized, I was like, wow, these people are really good. They know what they're doing. They have a strong understanding of the tools that we need in order to do proper graphic design. And me being someone I didn't care much in the beginning, so I never really bothered to learn the basics as well when it comes to grasping. I feel like I could definitely use a bigger paintbrush than this. It's just taking me way too long. This paintbrush is just blue and it's hard. I need to fix that. Try this one. But yeah, seeing everybody else in my school be just confident in what they were doing. Some of them, granted, I was just a little conceited of me, but I was looking at the products and everything that they were producing. And I was like, oh, if I actually cared, I could do so much better. If I actually knew what I was doing on these tools with Adobe and everything. At the time, I was like, I could definitely produce something so much better than what my classmates were making, but I didn't care. And I was like, at the time, looking at that, I was like, oh, I didn't care. So I was always just doing enough to get by, get a good enough passing grade, do well enough with my teachers to where they weren't completely disappointed in me, and then just pass the class. Okay, yeah, this is covering much more ground a lot quicker. Anyways, it was at that time that I started taking photography more seriously. And I was like, okay, I am confident in what I'm doing with photography. I know what I'm doing. I thoroughly enjoy this. I'm learning so much. And I wanted to, again, be back behind a camera because that was what I wanted to go to school for in the first place. And photography could do that for me. It could put me back behind a camera, interacting with people, getting paid well enough. But I had no idea what to charge for my work. And that was something I always struggled with. We had photography courses in college, but I always was just like, I don't know what in the world to charge for my work. Photography was something that I was confident in what I was doing. I was confident in the work that I was like putting out. I loved what I was doing. I thought I was good at it. I still think I'm pretty good at it. I'll be honest. I think I'm okay, A-okay at it. But I still had no idea what to charge, because I was like, okay, now I'm starting to charge people for this now. Before I was just, you know, taking senior portraits for friends or prom photos for my brother, like whatever. Still not a clue really what to charge. So I started asking my teachers, what should I charge? Like, simple question. And the never-ending answer that I got essentially was, well, whatever you think you're worth. And I'm like, well, clearly I don't know what I'm worth, which is why I'm asking. So please, like, give me an answer, because I have no idea what to begin with. I don't want to be charging too much and have somebody potentially not hire me because I'm new and I'm starting out, and I incorrectly charged too much. But I also didn't want to charge too little and then be doing a disservice for myself, not making enough money for something, or have somebody think that I'm not a professional because I'm charging so little. Okay, I feel like that's a good little base there. I'm gonna put a bunch of flowers coming out of her face. I don't know what to do about her hair, if she should even have hair. These are questions that I should have answers for, but I don't. And yes, I'm using a lot of water right now to kind of like spread things around right now. You know what? Maybe I won't put any hair. I think that's a good idea. No hair. We're gonna do something else with this. Lots and lots of white here. I've been watching too many like British game shows right now, so I have like that British accent stuck in my head. I'm sorry for anybody who's actually from the UK who watches me. Ooh, that's a lot of blue. We have our first messy hand here. Okay, so I'm just gonna start putting down some flowers here. Do I know what I'm doing? No. I'm just gonna go for it. I like painting flowers. It's very soothing painting a flower, for sure. Especially like these messy ones. It's definitely very nice. Right, so then I felt more confident in what I was charging as a photographer. It was something that I was used to doing, and I knew what I was doing. But then I started taking graphic design more seriously, and I was like, hey, okay, so how do I translate this? I'm not as good as my peers, I was saying, my classmates. So like, how should I charge for this? Because, you know, we're on different playing fields, and I felt weird charging something similar to them because I knew how seriously they were taking it in the beginning, and I felt like I wasn't doing the same thing, you know. Obviously, not any fault of theirs. They're doing the right thing. I just wasn't in the same mindset at the same time as them. I was really focused on film and what I was doing there. Going back in with this heart idea that I had before. It comes with my flowers, just paint some hearts and it makes it nice and easy. So once again, I was stuck with asking my professors, like, hey, how much should I charge for certain work? Because like I'm now enjoying what I'm doing, and I've now started to learn how to use the tools that I need in order to do what I'm doing properly. And they're like, again, the same answer, charge what you think you're worth. And I'm like, again, horrible answer, because I currently don't think I'm worth anything compared to my my classmates who are doing fabulous, amazing things. And I was just like, I'm not on the same playing field as them, you know? Wow, she's messy. I still love her. She's still doing great. Okay, cool. Just gonna keep adding more pops of color here and there. Boom, boom. Ooh, that's messy. Yes, the texture. At that point, I just kind of got stuck in this rut of just comparing myself to my classmates, seeing what they were doing, because now we were all graduated, right? And they're posting things that they're doing up on social media, and they're sharing it, and now I'm stuck comparing myself, which is not healthy for anybody to do. Never just sit there and compare yourself to people, especially in this field where you're being a creative person. Like, you don't want to compare yourself to people. Yes, it's good to take inspiration from some people. Proper inspiration, I don't mean like steal their artwork and say that it's yours, or steal their style and say that's yours, but I mean just like be motivated by the work that they're doing. That's good, that's fine. But that's not what I was doing. I was just straight up like looking at them and being like, I want to be you. Why can I not be you? And like I knew why. I was like, I didn't apply myself in the beginning. Oh no, I'm dripping paint everywhere. We're fine. So then I started finally like getting my own clients, people reaching out to me, wanting me to do work for them. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did it, I made it, I'm an artist, I'm a graphic designer. It's working. I've fooled you all into thinking that I'm a graphic designer. I am, by the way. You have to work on your self-speak and how you talk about yourself. I am a graphic designer. I just was like, at that time, I was just like, ha ha ha. I fooled you fools. Ha ha. None of you know that I don't know what I'm doing. Which I did know what I was doing, and that's the part that's frustrating, is that I did know what I was doing. I just felt I was lying to myself and thinking that I didn't. When I did. You know, like, I didn't just get a degree and pass graphic design, which is a very skilled work, from just sitting there and doing nothing and lying to teachers. Like, that's not how it works. You can't just do that. You have to actually put in the work, and I did. I just wasn't seeing it like that. Okay, now before I actually really muddle all of that up, I'm going to work more on the background here, and then I'll come back in and work on her skin tone down here. But we're going to start with mixing some colors because I need a grain, but I don't have a grain. What's really frustrating is I have this metallic lemon yellow. I need to get like an actual regular yellow. Because it has a sparkle to it, which isn't bad. It's a pretty sparkle, but sometimes I don't want a sparkle, you know? Sometimes I just want a yellow or a green. Anyways, where was I? Right, I started getting people reaching out, and they wanted to hire me. And at first, you know, obviously I was charging more on the low side because, again, like, I wasn't feeling confident in what I was doing. Granted, I had just graduated, so everything was super fresh in the old noggin here. Like, I knew what I was doing because I just learned how to do it. So it was like nice and fresh. Everything was good, and it was great. I was working for friends. They were basically like, you know, they were literally just like my friends. They were people who knew what I was doing. They knew what I was going to school for, and they were starting their own businesses and their own startups themselves that they needed, you know, logos or whatever work for. I was doing a lot of stuff for my church. Any little old job that I can get, and I was getting it, and I was doing good at it. Genuinely, like, I was doing fine. Like, everything was working. And then it got to the point where I was like, okay, I need to take this more seriously, so how do I do that? And with that came with me learning about contracts and everything. And this entire time, at the same time, I was just like, I'm only good enough to be working for friends, because I was like, they don't know that I don't know what I'm doing. They don't know that I'm like fooling them. They're friends. They're gonna be fine if it's not the most professional thing that they can get, which it still was. I was still putting like 110% of my work, of my effort into my work, but at the same time I was like 110% isn't good. Like it's still bad. Like that was how I was viewing the work that I was giving people, was this is bad work. How dare they hire me for creating this bad work. That, looking back at the work I was doing, it wasn't bad, it was good. Like it was proper good design work. I was just so insecure in what I was doing that I felt like it was bad work. Yeah, this entire time I'm still thinking to myself, you know, I'm only just good enough to create the mediocre work to get myself by. Like I'm not good enough to be working for a company. So all this time I'm still dealing basically with imposter syndrome. I don't feel like I deserve to tell people what my worth is, because they're gonna come back at me and tell me that like I'm wrong, that I'm not worth however much I'm saying I'm worth. And like, how dare I try to act like a professional by putting together contracts for people? Like, who do I think I am by doing that? Like, I'm just a little girl with a computer just having fun. Oh, you have a degree? Okay, sure, it's an art degree, like whatever. Like that was the way I viewed myself, and it was awful. It was painful. It was not fun. It's not a fun way to view yourself. Here I am this entire time just being like, I have a degree, I know what I'm going after. I'm starting to feel a bit more confident in what I'm doing by like just doing more work of it. Granted, it's still at this point still just friends or friends of friends who are hiring me, who are finding out about me. I'm not doing a great job like advertising to people or telling people like on social media or anything that I do graphic design. I started making these like series of paintings for my mom to put up as decoration in the house of our pets and just random dog figures, because it was really fun. I started painting again, and my mom was telling me, she's like, oh my gosh, you should sell these, you should do paintings of people's pets, like they're gonna love it. I'm like, yeah Mom, you're right, like people love having their pets being painted, so all I have to do is just say that I'm doing it and people are gonna buy them. But I was still like in the back of my head just being like, these are people's pets, like they're gonna feel really protective of their pets. If I do a bad job, they're gonna not think it's good. And at the moment, like I'm fine doing what I'm doing because no one has expectations of me besides myself, and it could still just be a fun hobby of painting people or painting pets. And I was getting inspiration at that time from people who were doing what I was doing and putting it out there, and getting people who were validating for them, though they might not have needed the validation, but who were telling them like, hey, yeah, no, you are an artist, like you're doing it, like here's my like, here's my follow, here's my share, subscribe, whatever. And I was still like, although I was looking up all this inspiration, how to make prints, how to do these paintings, how to make stickers, how to make sales, how to share stuff, I still was telling myself like, when you have to wait until like you're getting better at this. You're not good enough to do it yet, but you can, you know, I can look up tutorials on how to do things. I just like, don't you dare start trying to do it yourself yet, because you're not good enough at it yet. I don't know when she stopped recording, but we're back. So but yeah, still just all these internal voices. Let me tell you, there was no external voice telling me at all that I shouldn't be charging stuff. You know, I didn't have any friends, any family, nobody was telling me that I shouldn't be trying to make a career out of this, that I shouldn't be trying to sell art. One reason why possibly nobody was challenging these ideas was because I wasn't telling anybody these ideas. I wasn't telling anyone I was thinking about selling art or becoming an artist or full-time artist. But for those people who were, those friends of mine who were hiring, which again is another thing, I was having friends seeing my work and reach out to me asking me to do design work. And I still was telling myself nobody would pay. If they saw what I could do, nobody would pay. When it was like, obviously these people saw what I could do. They saw me doing things and they wanted to pay. Man, if I can go back in time and smack myself in the head, I definitely would. I would have been able to start on all of this stuff so much sooner. So I think this backdrop is pretty good. I like it. I'll go in with like details later, but right now I want to get more of the skin tone here. I'm going to start just kind of going in, if I can find the right brush, and just laying down more colors. I don't know how realistic I'm going to try to make this, but we're going to do something. Give her some depth. Okay, how does the body work? Again, both the cameras stopped recording. I know how long this camera records for. Don't know how long that camera records for. So I'm pretty satisfied with where this is at right now. I'm going to do some like outlining details and everything in a moment, but I want to let this dry before I go in and do that. Like I really like how this looks right now, but I'm going to do some little outline details. So in the meantime, while I'm letting this dry a little bit, I'm going to talk with you guys a bit more about just like the past couple of weeks, really the past couple of months, regarding like my imposter syndrome and just like not feeling like I'm good enough. Around the time that I started feeling like more comfortable with what I was doing graphic design wise is when things started getting busy. I basically was just working a lot, trying to save a lot. I wasn't looking for any graphic design gigs to do. All of my friends I basically had done work for at that point. Now that I could learn how to use contracts, I didn't need them because I wasn't doing any of the work. Instead of having a job every month or so, I was doing some kind of graphic work or photography work every other month. And then the moving and the planning the wedding and all of this stuff started happening, and I stopped having an eye out for things. I also was living with my parents at the time, so I moved away from all my friends and all the work that I had. So now I was just not doing anything, and that was fine. Like, it was a little break for myself, but I wasn't practicing in the ways that I was practicing before by doing any kind of like drawing or any kind of art things. My mind was very caught up in like everything else. But still in the back of my mind, I was like, I want to start my own small business, my own art business, and be able to be making money by doing this. I was still having that voice in my head being like, you're not good enough to do it. Like, you can't just start it yet. Like, people aren't going to pay you yet. Even though you've been practicing for years, you know, you've been out of practice now, so people aren't going to pay you. So when I finally got people reaching out to me saying like, hey, I want to hire you from design work, this was really in the past couple of months, I was like, great, I'm going back into it. I can totally do this. I put myself out there and started doing the work, but I was still in my mind like, when you're not worthy to tell people what your worth is, give them a discount. Don't tell them you're giving them a discount. Just give them a discount of what you would normally charge. Don't do the contract yet. Like, you don't want to become too like abrasive by saying like, hey, I'm a professional, pay me what I'm worth, basically. So my last clip that I didn't realize, I have no way of like checking what's going on with my cameras other than getting out of my seat and looking at the camera itself, like going behind it. I realized this camera, the card got full on this camera. I was in the middle of like talking about more insecurities and everything, and that camera battery died, so I have no idea. I didn't check that camera to see what the last thing it was that it actually fully filmed. So we're gonna do this again. What time is it? It is now 6 o'clock, and I've been working on this painting for a few hours now. I technically started at like 12 today, so I feel like it's been dried enough. I'm gonna start doing some of the little details and everything that I want to do, which is gonna take a while because there's a lot of little details that I want to do. Where are my pens? So I watched the recent thing that I said, the most recent thing that I said on there, talking about contracts. There was a lot that I said after I said contracts, so there's going to be definitely some missing pieces. So I'm going to use my Micron brush pen and the .08 pen, and then I'm just going to use, sorry, I'm going to be all burpy now. I'm just going to use other paints and everything. So talking about contracts, I don't even know the full last thing that I said. Oh my goodness. I'm probably going to be missing some details. But I'm just going to move on from talking about graphic design and photography and move into like my own small business, talking about the details of just putting out some work. I do apologize, there's a fly on the lens right now, so if you see something coming across, that's what's happening. Yeah, I basically was just lying to myself for the longest time, of telling myself that like nobody's gonna want to buy my work, for one, so why should I even try to start selling it? I never really had like a lot of big formal training in painting. It was just stuff that was done in like high school, and the one class I took in college that was geared more around painting. So, you know, that it was work to be proud of, and I could not be proud of myself. That's also a big deal for me. Opening up a can of worms there with that sentence. Like, I still, like, a big reason why I was always working so many jobs was because that's where I felt like a lot of my pride could come from, and all the ways that people could be proud of me. Like, whether it was Brian or my parents or my family or anybody, it was like, oh, people will only be proud of me for working hard, and working hard comes from working so many jobs. Like, that's where my pride's going to come from. That's how I can make people proud to be like related to me or know me or love me or anything. Like, that's what's going to do it, not this work here. I'm like, this work here isn't going to make people proud of me, but it is, you know. It still like shocks me to this day whenever I'm working on something and Brian comes up and he looks at it and he comes behind me and he's just like, wow, that looks so great. Like, I'm really proud of you. Like, you're working really hard on this. Like, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, what? You are? Like, this is crazy. Who would have thought that was possible? Not Brian being proud of me, but like anyone could be proud of me of this work that I'm doing. It was the craziest thing. And so now I was like, okay, I could actually finally put this work out as a job, tell people that I'm making it outside of just doing cards for holidays, because I was like, that's not necessarily like that it was easy, but for me, like, I knew for sure that I could do that and I would be able to do it without fail, you know. So I was telling myself, take the easy way out. The way that I always tend to go for things is like the easy way out. So I was like, I can do that for sure. And then I still have Brian over here on my shoulder being like, hey, but you can also do these other paintings. Put these paintings out. Like, people will want to buy them. People will be proud to buy them. Not only will people be willing to pay the price that you put on them because that's what they're worth, that's what your work is worth, but they'll be proud to own it. And I was just like, that was crazy talk. You was talking some crazy man talks right there, good sir. That's ridiculous. So that's what I'm working on personally, is telling myself, like, not only will people want to pay the price that I put on my work and the value that I value my work at, but they'll be proud to own the work that I put out. Ooh, I am liking how this like curtain of leaves is coming out. So nice. Put some more big globs over here. Get that fat texture there. So I had somebody come up and hire me. They were a friend of a friend. And again, I was thinking like, hey, it's been a while since I've done any kind of work. Granted, the last person didn't even pay me, which only validated for me what I thought my worth was, which was nothing. So I was like, I'm not going to give you a contract. I'm not going to make you put down a deposit. And I'm going to give you a discount. Without telling them any of that. I was just telling myself that. So it got to the end of the project, and if it was in the contract, what could have happened in this situation without going into details, there could have been something in the contract that talked about what could happen if they weren't fully satisfied. But there wasn't a contract talking about that, so they basically offered to pay way, way less than anything I would have charged. Even when I was first starting out and I wasn't comfortable enough, you know, charging, I wasn't charging as low as they had offered. And I realized it was because I didn't come across in the beginning as a professional. throughout the entire experience and working with them, yes, I was very professional about everything. Made sure to give them out everything that they wanted throughout the entire thing in a very professional manner. But in the beginning, I didn't come across as a professional, so of course, they didn't take me as one. And then eventually, in the end, they wanted the entire project, everything that I had worked on, but still, they were only offering the small discount amount that they offered in the beginning, in that last part. So I, of course, was offended and insulted, but I still was just like, I never let them know how professional I was in the beginning when it comes to payments and charges and everything. At that point, I started to stick up for myself and let them know that they needed to pay me in full for everything if they wanted to receive everything that they asked for. So in the end, yes, I got all my money. I got my payments. I got my dough. I got what I went after. And they got what they wanted. But if I had just from the beginning treated myself like a professional, then everything I was struggling with at that one point wouldn't have happened. And it's because I didn't value myself. So that's something I have been working on, is really valuing myself, when that goes into me being my own boss and being an artist and starting my own small business. Because a part of myself is like, people aren't, like, don't take yourself too seriously. People aren't gonna want to charge what you're, or want to pay what you're charging for, so you don't need to take yourself too seriously. When it's like, yes, no, people will definitely pay what you're charging for if you tell them that's what you're charging. And you take yourself seriously, which, you know, is having trouble doing that. So finally, this is where I'm at, is working on myself and accepting that I'm a professional and I'm an artist who deserves to be paid her worth and deserves to know her worth. Can I get an amen? Hallelujah. Amen. Hallelujah. Boom. So yeah, that's basically the end of my little TED Talk. I'm going to go in and continue putting in some more little details here, and then I'll check in with you guys at the end. My painting's done. Okay, the lighting in this room is probably really weird now because it's now 7 o'clock. So, honestly, I love her. Like, I love her. I don't think I want to sell her. I'm probably going to sell her, but I don't think I want to. Like, I really like her. I'm so proud of it. Like, I love it. I think it looks great. I love it. I love this series that I'm doing. I'm so excited to continue going. Oh my gosh, I'm impressed with myself for the skin tone, getting some of these, like, shading right. Hopefully the shading right, because like I was saying, the lighting in this room has been going crazy with different times of day. Anyways, yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's very different from some of the other videos I've made. You guys know I don't like to just sit down and talk to the camera anymore. I've tried doing that in the past, and it's not as fun for me to film because I feel like I'm just talking, which I do anyways. Multitasking is great. So, I don't know. Let me know if you want to see more of these types of videos. I probably will be doing more of these types of videos, more of these types of studio vlogs of me just sitting and painting, talking about something. Maybe next time it'll be a voiceover and not so much of me literally just sitting and talking at the canvas. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see this painting and any of the other work that I make, they're going to be on my website, QuinnKaylin.com. Really easy. Same name as everything else I use for social media. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, give it a like. If you want to see more of my face and see me try to conquer the human race, be sure to subscribe. You can find me at all of my social media at QuinnKaylin. We can chat, DM me, we can become best friends. You can see me try to make cool artsy videos all over on TikTok. Anyways, that's gonna do it for my video. I love you guys. I love and appreciate you guys so very much. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!